The simplest and fastest way to make six figures a year in your 20s is by getting into a high income skill set like marketing or sales. Reason for this, and I'm a little biased on this, but I think it's really true, is that these two skills are the highest value skill sets that any businesses need. And in business in general, the highest paid roles are the ones that solve the biggest problems. Every single business, they need proper marketing and they need a proper sales process in order to scale and generate revenue. So therefore, if you're responsible for helping with that, whether you're in the marketing side or the sales side of things, you get paid a lot of money. There's people out there that all they do is sell and work on marketing for business. They don't even run their own business. They just work for a business where they make multiple six figures a year, sometimes even more, right? It's a very lucrative industry or skill set rather to get into. And I just prefer sales in my opinion because it's easier to pick up compared to marketing. I've done both and you can make money faster with it. It also just teaches you the skill of communication. And you guys might have heard this, but 80% or so billionaires and millionaires, they started out in the industry of sales. Now, you also don't need a degree of any sort or anything like that and have to take on a ton of debt to just make 50K a year. There's people out there in sales guys where they're doing 100K a year their first year with no experience whatsoever. And that's what I love about it is that in sales, everyone starts off on an equal playing field and it's really just about who works the hardest, right? It's not like you just have a hand down, you can automatically make more in sales. Everyone starts out fully commission based. Everyone's calling the same leads unless you're at a weird company that you don't do that. But you always start at the bottom and you work your way up in the ladder. And I think that's why I love it so much because I'm a very competitive person myself, right? And with something like this, the reason why it's so lucrative, it's fully commission based, right? So you literally eat what you kill, if that makes sense. And that's why it's so important to take on risk while you're early. So this is why it's so important if you're like 18, 25, just in your 20s overall, where you can take on risks like this because obviously with a sales role or even learning a marketing role, you have to take on a lot of risk, right? And if you're 20 or so and you don't really have bills like myself, you don't have a family or whatnot, you're in the best possible position to really put the fuel on the fire, if you will, and put yourself out there and put yourself in uncomfortable positions to really set yourself up for when you're, let's say, 25, 30, 35. You can look back on your 20s and be like, I'm so glad I took that risk, whether it be getting into sales, starting that business, learning that skill set, and not taking that traditional route that everyone takes, which is going into college. I'm not saying this is wrong or anything, but going to college, getting that 4 year degree, and then possibly not even using that degree because you get replaced by AI or you only make like 50K a year and now you're paying off that degree for the rest of your life, right? And that's the thing with sales, like I was saying, you can get into it, no experience needed. There's obviously that risk, but as long as you work hard, you can make a lot of money in it. And then the also important thing about it is that eventually, if you want to run your own business, which is like where the real money's made, you definitely need to learn how to sell and communicate. That's the most important fundamental skill set that anyone can have. Because I don't think a lot of people recognize this, but it's pretty common sense, right? Well, I mean, common sense and common practice. Communication is the very most important skill set that anyone can have. At the end of the day, guys, we're social creatures. Humans, the way we've built society, the civilization that we have now, from when we were a caveman, is we developed languages so that we can communicate with each other. Written languages, so we could, transcribe things and jot down history to teach one another things. It's all comes down to communication, whether it's verbal or written. And it's the worst possible thing ever if you're a person, especially a man, and you don't know how to communicate properly. You're never going to get anything you want, whether it be from work. Let's say you're, working a typical 9 to 5, you want to get a raise. You can't communicate properly with your boss and persuade them to give you a raise. You're cooked. You go on a date with a girl you really like, you fumble it because you don't know how to speak correctly to her. It all comes down to communication, right? But more so going into the actual nitty gritty of sales, I already kind of touched on why I like it so much. You can make a lot of money just from it being performance, and then you can run your own business. There's no like experience required. Another reason I really like it is you can also work from home, which is a really nice thing. It's not like these jobs, guys, where you have to go out and work 8 hour, 10 hour days, some 12 hour days like construction workers do in the hot heat. I don't know where you guys are watching this from. I'm from California. It's like 100 degrees right now. I can't imagine, even being, out there in the sun working, scooping dirt or building a building, right? The thing with sales is you can make a doctor salary and you can literally work from home in your PJs. It's ridiculous. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's all sunshine and rainbows. It's definitely really hard to do, but when you put into perspective of comparing this type of opportunity with other businesses, like let's say, or not businesses, sorry, other careers, like being an electrician or an HVAC technician or a car mechanic, it's so much more gruesome hard work to get paid nowhere near as you can get paid as being in a sales role, right? One of the main things that I really think helps me in making my decisions is either way, either decision I can make in life, it's probably going to be really hard because life is hard. So let's just pick your poison. What type of hard do you want to do? I'd rather just have this career path where I know it's going to be really hard, but I know I can make a bunch of money and I don't have to be out in the sun working all day. But yeah, that's why I love sales so much. To really summarize, you can start off with no experience, make a shit ton of money, you can work from home, and it develops the most important skill set that a human can have, which is that skill of communication. So you might be wondering now, like, how do you actually get into this, right? So for me, I sell life insurance. I'll break down how you can get into basically any other role because with life insurance, there is a licensing process. With other sales roles, you can usually just get it by looking on Indeed or searching up on really Instagram or anything. People are always hiring. And like the thing, like I was saying, you don't really need an experience. As long as someone sees that you're hardworking, you can join a company. What I recommend is you join a company or like a brokerage if it's something more independent and or 1099 like life insurance, and you just find an organization where the people in it are producing really good numbers. That's why I joined my organization that I'm under selling life insurance, is that all of my buddies that I know from my time, like 2 years ago I started on an online business. I was running my own marketing agency. A lot of the connections and the network I have, they're all doing life insurance now at this organization, making multiple six figures a year. So I was like, oh, that sounds like a great opportunity. I know all these people already. I'm friends with them, and I can learn from them and make the same amount of money. So that's why I joined this organization. I think that's the most important thing, guys. If you're looking to get in sales, just find an organization where there's people in there that can give you the mentorship, people you can be friends with, surround yourself with winners. And it's a matter of time before you start also doing those numbers they're doing and making that type of money you want to make. But reason why I got into life insurance is just more so because one, all my buddies are doing it, selling six figures a year. And it's also important too, you want to make sure that what you're selling is a needs-based product rather than a want-based product, right? So this ties into what I sell, which is life insurance. You can also sell real estate, things that people need. So like you can sell loans, so you can be a mortgage broker. I'm trying to think of other stuff here that comes to mind. Really just the rule of thumb is you don't want to sell something that people just want. They don't perceive it as a need. So an example of that could be, for example's sake, if you sell like bulk clothing or something like that, right? Clothing, in a sense, is a need. Like you obviously need clothes. You can't be fucking naked, but it gets to a certain point where more so people are just buying clothes because they like the clothes. Whereas something with, let's say you're selling life insurance, these people actually need it because if something happens to them, a lot of people, they don't have the money to be able to pay for their expenses, whether it's the burial or maybe they got a mortgage left on their home, car payments, things like that. So they want to make sure they're protected, right? So if you guys are just looking to get into sales, I would join an organization where you can, learn from killers, like I was saying, as well as make sure you're selling a product that's needs based and people actually need it. And the reason why it makes it so much easier is because you don't super sell these people. It's almost like you're a customer support agent with a lot of these industries where you're just selling a need rather than a want. It makes this process a lot easier and you don't have to really pull teeth to convince people to buy something. It's more so just helping them figure out what option to pick. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions around sales or anything like that or want to get into it, you can always hit me up on Instagram. I'll leave it in the description here. Take care, guys.